Okay, so the world of artificial intelligence just got a major shakeup. A Chinese AI startup has just dropped a new model that isn't just powerful, it's challenging the very idea of who gets to build our future. This is the story of DeepSeek V3.2.
And this release really forces us to ask a super important question. For the longest time, it's felt like the most powerful AI was this locked box, something only a handful of tech giants with bottomless budgets could ever touch. Is that still true?
I mean, here's the problem in a nutshell. On one side, you've got the closed proprietary models. Running a top-tier model like GPT-4o can set you back more than $10 for every million tokens you process. And on the other side, well, it's been a big question mark. Could open-source AI ever really deliver that kind of horsepower at a price that normal people and companies can actually afford?
And that brings us to the first part of our story, what I'm calling the AI Giants Club. For the past few years, progress has been all about this incredibly expensive scale race. The logic was pretty simple. Bigger is always better. And the cost? Well, that was no object for the few who could afford to play the game. This race basically built a massive wall around the best technology. If you weren't a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you were pretty much locked out from building with the absolute best AI. The whole game was rigged for those with the deepest pockets. But now, a challenger has officially entered the ring. A Chinese AI startup called DeepSeek just open-sourced its V3.2 model. And folks, this is not just another model, it is a potential game-changer.
The reaction from the community was, immediate and just electric. This quote from a developer over on Reddit really captures the feeling perfectly. This sense that the open source world has finally, truly caught up to the performance of the giants.
So let's take a quick look at the raw power we're talking about here. It's got 685 billion parameters and a massive 128,000 token context window. But honestly, the most important detail on this entire slide is the MIT license. This incredible power isn't locked away behind some corporate wall. It's genuinely open for almost anyone to use and build on. That's huge. So the big question is, how did they do it? How did they build something that can go toe-to-toe with the very best, but without that same massive price tag? Well, the answer lies in a really clever piece of tech, their efficiency secret weapon. It's called DeepSeek Sparse Attention, or DSA for short, and the best way to wrap your head around it is with this analogy. A normal AI, right, has to read an entire textbook from cover to cover for every single question you ask it. DSA, on the other hand, acts like a super smart assistant that instantly finds and highlights only the few pages that are actually relevant. This makes the whole process incredibly fast and way cheaper.
So how'd they achieve this efficiency? Well, it comes down to this really clever two-stage training process. First, they warm up the model so it learns to act like a traditional AI. Then, once it's got the basics down, they flip the switch to the hyper-efficient DSA mode for the rest of the training. It's just a brilliant way to get the best of both worlds.
And the result of all this clever engineering? A staggering 70% reduction in the cost of running the model. That isn't just a little improvement, it's a massive leap forward that totally changes the economics of AI.
Of course, being efficient is one thing, but is it actually smart? To find out, we have to put it to the test. So let's get to the showdown at the benchmarks, where DeepSeek's reasoning power goes head-to-head with the industry giants.
First up, a true test of deep reasoning, advanced mathematics. And we're not talking about just reciting facts here. This is all about complex problem solving.
And the results? They are absolutely stunning. On the IME Math Competition benchmark, DeepSeek's high-performance version doesn't just compete, it scores 96%. Actually edging out both Google's Gemini 3.0 Pro and OpenAI's best models. In a direct test of pure reasoning, the open-source contender came out on top.
All right, next round, competitive coding. This is another critical skill for any modern AI, requiring logic, precision, and a real understanding of complex systems. And the victories just keep coming. On Terminal Bench 2.0, which is a really difficult coding test, DeepSeek scores over 46%. Leaving top proprietary models way behind at just over 35%. The evidence for its superior reasoning is just, well, it's stacking up.
And it doesn't stop there. This model has achieved gold medal level performance at the International Mathematical Olympiad, a top 10 finish at the Informatics Olympiad, and an incredible second-place equivalent performance at the ICPC World Finals for coding. These are elite, world-class results, plain and simple.
So, we've established it's powerful and it's efficient. But what does all of this actually mean? Let's talk about the real-world impact of this technology, because this is where the story gets truly exciting.
It all comes down to this number, 28 cents. That's the API cost to process 1 million tokens with DeepSeek V3.2. Just let that sink in. 28 cents for what used to cost over $10.
I mean, this insane cost advantage is the real game changer. The leading closed models are 25 to 30 times more expensive. DeepSeek hasn't just lowered the price. It has created an entirely new baseline for what state-of-the-art AI should cost.
And the implications here are huge. This challenges that whole narrative of U.S. dominance in AI, and it pretty much bypasses tech export controls. It empowers individual developers and small research labs all over the world. It helps turn AI from this complex rocket science into just basic infrastructure, like electricity. And maybe most importantly, it proves that the open source path can get you world-class results with just a fraction of the resources.
Now, it's important to be balanced here. The model isn't perfect. Its knowledge of very recent world events isn't quite as up-to-date as the closed models, and that superpowered speciale version doesn't support tool use, at least not yet. So those are real limitations you need to know about.
But even with those couple of issues, the big takeaway is this. For the first time, a truly top-tier reasoning engine is not just affordable, it's open. The box that was once locked up tight by a few giants has been thrown wide open. The only question now is, what is the world going to build with it?